Hi guys, I'm Christina. This is my literary narrative. I decided to do it in the form of a video essay because number one, I had the chance to, and I figured if I could, why not take that opportunity, especially in this day and age when everyone's all about everything online. So I'm going to start off by talking to you about the basics of how I learned to read and write. I did a lot of things when I was little. I knew from the start that I was always one for writing. I was never much of a reader, especially when I got to around middle school. As for learning how to write, I remember my grandpa had a typewriter in his basement that I'd always go down and mess around with, and he'd give me practice paragraphs to type. I'd learn the keys, I'd learn how to spell words, and actually that evolved into me learning how to type on the computer. When I got to elementary school, my parents got us, my sister and I, a computer program that taught you how to type. And I remember the rule was you weren't allowed to get on the computer to like play the games or whatever it was that we were doing at the time until we did one typing lesson, and we'd have to do this every day because every day we wanted to go on the computer. So I remember at the time how annoyed I was with that because I was like, Dad, why am I ever going to need to learn how to type? And just to think that like now how everyone, it's like what our lives revolve around. You think it's so simple, but like, I mean, I guess some people still don't really know how to type. You take it for granted, but I'm really glad that my parents did that. Another thing I remember that really taught me how to identify words was when my dad would draw pictures for me. I'd ask him to draw something, he would draw it and then write down the word, and I would learn how to spell it and what that word was by the pictures. And I love doing that. Even to this day, I'm still a very picturesque person. Like, I like to see things spelled out right in front of me. So it's still really interesting for me to think about how that specific trait of me being a visualizer has stuck with me since when I was really, really young and just learning my first words. Another huge part of my life has been music. And ever since I can remember, we've had a piano in the house. I started taking lessons when I was 6. I actually had to stop a few years ago, but I still play and I still love it. And I'm hoping I can carry some aspect of that with me beyond college into my career because I'm hoping to get into the music or film business. So in a sense, by me getting exposed to the music industry, learning how to play, taking lessons, going to concerts and performing, it all added up to my own personal music literacy. In terms of literary sponsors, I know the obvious ones would be my immediate family. Definitely my grandparents had a lot to do with it. I know I always had the new gadget that came out, like when the cell phones first came out, and laptops and iPods and iPads. According to the Deborah Brandt excerpt that we read in class, she talked a lot about how like the current economic status or politics have to do with what sponsors are looking for, and so that kind of ties back to the era that you live in and what's going on in history and what is needed to make society progress forward. Brandt defines a sponsor as an agent that enables and supports as well as regulate or suppresses literacy. So really, a sponsor doesn't necessarily have to be a person. I feel like when you really think about it more in depth, the term sponsor is anyone that really supports you in your quest to achieve literacy. So yeah, like when you think of a sponsor, probably the first thing that comes to your head is your family because they paid for your schooling and everything else. But what about like the actual institutions that you went to? Maybe you went to a music school, maybe you took lessons at a certain place with someone who taught you how to read music, or at school, like your favorite history teacher that really taught you how to write research papers well or how to read well and really prepare you for college. So that being said, I feel like that ties in to the Malcolm X reading that we did in class because the focus on that was basically that you are a product of past experiences and your surroundings. Malcolm X was in prison, but he had the drive and he used the materials around him to become literate. I feel that everyone is literate in their own way based on the things that they know, or the things that they've experienced or been through, and everyone has a different story to tell. As for me, I've always had the tools to help me become literate, and that's because of my sponsors and the materials they were able to provide me with. So now I'm going to talk about the most recent event that's happened to me. My best friend got sick last summer, and unfortunately she ended up passing away because of a disease called myocarditis. Long story short, we had been best friends for 5 years. We met at a small private school. She and I shared the love of the band Coldplay, and we had planned to go see them in concert, which was last June in Tampa, but we had planned it for a couple of years, and the time was getting closer. I graduated, she was at my graduation. She's 2 years younger than me, and but we just had this plan for a while, and it was something that we were both really looking forward to. But she got sick. She was in the hospital in intensive care at the cardiovascular ECU. So obviously, like, she wasn't able to make it, and it didn't really hit me at first. When it did, I thought to myself, okay, well, I don't really, like, I have to do something about her not going with me, because I really can't believe that we waited all these years, she's not coming. So I had this crazy idea, and, like, it was definitely a long shot. I woke up one Sunday morning and I was like, all right, let's see where I can go with this. I ended up drafting a letter to Coldplay addressed to the members of the band, explaining Leanna's story and our story, and was just simply asking if they would be willing to dedicate a song to her, or make a video, or just something like that. Not a lot of effort, not a lot of time, just, it would be awesome. I mean, it was a long shot, like I said, if they could just do a little something like that for her to see while she was in the hospital. I showed it to some of my friends. Everyone couldn't believe that I even, like, had that idea. I ended up putting it on Facebook and had so many friends see it. I started a Facebook page called A Letter to Coldplay for Leanna, and within a couple of days I had 20,000 followers. A few days later, we got the right contact. I knew it would just take that one person, and I'm so thankful that it happened. Chris Martin, the lead singer of the band, ended up dedicating the song to her at the concert while I was there. I have it all on video. I can show you guys. It was, like, the most amazing moment of my life. I had to learn, like, over the years, the course of my experiences of writing, I had to learn to, like, write in a different medium for a different audience, for a different cause. And it was kind of like a really big step for me, because I'd never done anything like that, and I knew it was a long shot. To just think that I could combine, like, my music literacy and my technology literacy and my past experiences to drafting this letter and making something like that happen was just huge. So overall, that was a real positive learning experience for me, and I felt like that was a really relevant story to tell about this topic of literacy and what it means to us and how we've achieved our literacy over the years. And it really just goes to show that literacy is a culmination of the sponsors that you have that provide the resources that you've been around your whole life, the people you surround yourself with, as well as the experiences that you found yourself in. Hey guys, this wraps up my final draft of my literacy narrative. I enjoyed doing it. I learned a lot about myself that I haven't really thought about in a while. It's very eye-opening. And I will add the link to the dedication video for my friend at the concert, as well as the citations of the 2 readings. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked it.